Good morning. Welcome to the Read Aloud, and today's Read Aloud is Jamaica's Blue Marker. And today we're going to continue practicing making text-to-text connections and explaining why we made those connections. We're also going to continue to practice listening to a story and discussing a story. And then the last thing we're going to practice is paying attention to important details that we can use to answer questions later. Okay? All right, so Jamaica's Blue Marker, right? And Rossi's here with me, and hopefully he'll stay. I'm going to read to Rossi. Okay? Jamaica's Blue Marker. Jamaica's Blue Marker by Juanita Haville. Jamaica closed her eyes and thought about her picture. Mrs. Rith always said to think first, then draw. She's visualizing. Jamaica opened her eyes and drew a tree on her big sheet of paper. Then she drew leaves falling off the tree and colored them yellow. Jamaica, Mrs. Rith said, "Could you please share your markers with Russell? He doesn't have any." He never has anything he needs, Jamaica thought. But she said, okay, even though she didn't want to share her markers with him. You can see her face right here. Not really sure she wants to share. I wonder why she doesn't want to share. Russell brought his paper to Jamaica's table. He sat down beside her, grabbed her blue marker. Jamaica picked up her brown and orange markers to finish her picture. She didn't pay any attention to Russell. After a while, she peeked at his paper. Russell was making squiggly circles all over his page. "We're supposed to draw a fall picture, Russell," Jamaica said. "Who says?" "Mrs. Rith, don't you ever listen?" "I don't have to." Russell reached out with the blue marker and made a streak across Jamaica's picture. "Russell, stop!" Jamaica shouted, but Russell scribbled all over Jamaica's yellow leaf tree. Look at her face, she's a little shocked. "Mrs. Rith," Jamaica cried, "Russell wrecked my picture." Mrs. Rith hurried over to her table. "Russell, did you do this?" She held up Jamaica's picture. Mrs. Rith couldn't get Russell to say I'm sorry. He had to go sit alone and work on spelling until art was over. Doesn't seem to mind. "Look what Russell did," Jamaica showed her father and brother when she got home. "I tried, but I couldn't make another one as good as this one." When she looked at the ugly blue squiggles, she had to swallow hard not to cry. "Russell is a mean brat." "Did you tell Mrs. Rith what happened?" That's her dad, and that's her brother in the background. His name is Ozzy. He's also in a lot of the books. Jamaica nodded. "Russell can't use my markers again. I shared with him because he didn't have any. He never has what he's supposed to have. But that's no reason to be mean." "No," her father said. "Russell shouldn't have messed up your picture." Here is another picture. The next time they had art, Jamaica was glad Russell didn't sit at her table. Then he couldn't bother her, and she didn't have to share her markers with him either. But at recess, Russell threw sand at her and chased 2 second-grade girls, so he had to go to the office. Before he came back, Mrs. Worth said, "I would like to tell you something. Can you keep a secret?" "Yes," Jamaica shouted with her classmates. "We are going to have a going-away party for Russell on Friday. His father has a new job in another town. They will be moving over the weekend. I thought that you might like to make cards to say goodbye. Then Russell will have something to remember us by. There's the picture again. What do we think Jamaica's thinking right now? What do we think Jamaica's thinking about Russell leaving? Mrs. Worth passed out paper. Then she showed everyone how to fold the paper into a card. Jamaica didn't want to make a card for Russell. So how many of you thought she didn't want to make a card? She was glad he was moving. How many of you thought that? She was thinking that. Then he wouldn't bother her anymore. She put the paper in her desk. She's like, I'm not going to do this. At supper, Jamaica said, I like living here. I like my house, my room, and the tree in the front yard. I like my school, too. I'm glad you do, her mother said. I wouldn't like to move. Who said anything about moving? Ozzy asked. Russell is moving, Jamaica said. Lucky you, he won't mess up your pictures anymore, Ozzy said. I wonder how Russell feels about moving, Dad said. He might be upset. Has he talked about it? Russell doesn't say anything. He just gets in trouble, Jamaica said. Wonder why Russell always gets in trouble. Russell didn't come to the classroom on Friday morning. He was with his mother in the office. Jamaica looked at his empty desk. Next week, Russell would be gone. He wouldn't be at his desk ever again. She decided to make a card for Russell. She got out the blank card and her markers too. She's changing her mind. Why do you think she's changing her mind? But just then Mrs. Rith asked, Who are my helpers this week? Jamaica raised her hand. Jamaica, could you collect the cards and put them in Russell's desk? Brianna and Thomas, I'd like you to clear the activity table for the plates and cups. Jamaica went from desk to desk to pick up the cards. She put the whole stack in Russell's desk. As she closed his desk, Russell came in with his mother. The party started. They played games for a while and ate cake. Russell opened his desk and took out all the cards. Look, Mom, everybody made me a card. So he does talk. Not everybody, Jamaica thought. She took the blue marker out of her marker bag. Then she ran up to Russell. This is for you, Russell. She handed him the marker. You can use it at your new school. But you might need it, he said. You like to draw. You draw the best pictures in the class. What if you have to color the sky? Somebody will share with me. Thanks, he said. You're lucky. You get to stay here. Now Jamaica knew how Russell felt about moving. I wish you didn't have to move, she said. When Jamaica waved goodbye to Russell, she noticed that his mother was carrying his goodbye cards. Russell held up the blue marker and waved it at her as if he'd won a prize. Pretty sweet. Goodbye, Russell. I'll miss you, Jamaica said, and she meant it. And then it's her little marker case without the blue marker. Right? So think about who the characters are in the story and why did Jamaica change her mind about wanting Russell to move? Why do you think? And I also want you to think about how Russell was feeling about moving and what were his actions that showed how he was feeling. What color was he on the mood meter and how did he show it? And then lastly, I want you to make a text-to-text connection to one of the other stories that we've already read. Rossi. And there's Rossi. He stayed in my lap the whole time. Good boy, Rossi. There you go. And that's your read aloud.